make sure I'm capturing this. One second. I want to make sure I'm capturing this for the podcast later. Here we go. Is there equal access to the writing markets and author representation for men and women author from Africa and African descent, or is a discrepancy in representation? I would say I would throw this to Chove. Let's talk about the African continent first. Um, is there
Okay.
this yeah? What's the situation between men and women there?
Okay. Well, okay. First of all, if you're talking about the larger speculative fiction industry, I just know there's not a lot of representation. If you check each of the pro magazines, the SFWA pro paying magazines, you will see there's usually just a handful of African writers, maybe, you know, enough for you to count on one hand. And
Hmm.
some of the time there's none at all, so I'm not particular about, how that plays out. There is a lack of representation. That's what
Right.
I'm sure of.
So
But
that's
I'm
around
not,
the. I see
yeah.
what you're saying. So that's around like that's just for the whole thing, and then that lack of representation exists, and then there's probably even less women than men, I guess, a little bit less.
Yeah, well, where is zero? I don't know. It's kind of,
Hmm.
and it's zero a lot of the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So there's only men.
There's a lot of the time there's nobody, but yeah, I guess, yeah. Uh yeah.
And Stella, your question, I mean, we addressed this. I mean, I feel that we addressed this quite a bit during the show. It was actually the main theme, is that type of representation. And Chobo was very eloquent about this, how you basically have to be sort of a full-time, uh, your own brand machine just to get heard outside of the continent. That's what I understood. Oh, Ruby's asking, are you always open to manuscripts or can we keep track on your website? So tell us, Zelda, how is the process with submitting to you? Or, I mean, where are you? I mean, are you also, I mean, you indicated that you're cutting down a little bit, but what would the process be?
Yeah, so the typical process, I would post. I had a section on the website called Open Calls, which was all the submissions for manuscripts, magazines, anything I had going on, and I will also repost that on the submissions grinder, Duotrope, and then a bunch of smaller websites like Horatory and stuff would copy and paste and share what's relevant. People right now I'm doing major maintenance because I'm getting ready to launch an actual like bookstore portion of my website, like selling other books that are relevant. So once that's off the ground, I will still be putting out a few anthologies, and I'll have that open call in there. Probably won't take manuscripts again until at least late 2022 or 2023, only because I still have quite a few manuscripts to get out for this year next, and a backlog of short stories for magazines to get through.
Hmm. Um, Cover is asking this question. I have this question on my mind all the time when we get so many, writers from different places in the world. Would Shova be able to recommend an African writer with a book that is Africa centric, like a contemporary writer? Covery, do you mean also maybe not speculative fiction, maybe literary fiction? I don't know. I'm always like so weird with all these different genres, but I think Shova, like me, doesn't like those genres. You can also ask that in voice, Covery. But what authors would you recommend,
Yeah.
Shova? And you can
Okay.
type this in maybe. You know what? I'm gonna put I'll ask it on Twitter once we're done, but talk a little bit about, and then on Twitter I'll tag everyone, and I'll also put it on the podcast and in the group, and I'll put all the names out there. But go ahead.
Okay. Voice or text?
Use voice now, and then later
Okay,
afterwards we'll
okay,
do it on
okay.
Twitter. I'll ask you on Twitter.
Okay. I would recommend Suyi Davis.
Ah,
Boa. Uh, yeah, he's in Nigeria. Yeah, I would recommend um Tochi Onyebuchi. I would recommend Rafiat Aliyu.
ah.
Yeah.
She's
Uh,
also in the what was her story in the Dominion? Ah, I already forgot. I have it right
she
here.
wrote Space Opera story. Hold on, I'm
Right.
having a brain freeze.
Yeah, me
She
too.
wrote To Say Nothing of Lost
That's right,
Figurines
to
for
say nothing
Dominion.
of lost figurines.
Yeah.
That's why the portal is here. Exactly. Yeah. Th-
Portal Magic.
Yeah, portal magic, and that is so cool. I mean, this is almost also like just like a little introduction to a really cool world. Um, Corey, I'll put that on. I'll put that out and tag everyone, and then Chove can put that together.
Yeah. You can check out Leslie Nikarima.
Oh, you know what? Dilmandilla just appeared. Check this out. He's a little floating. No, look at his avatar. Dilman, hello, how are you? Come on stage. Just walk forward.
Yeah,
Dilman just
victim.
came in. Awesome. He is also represented in this book.
Actually, his story got shortlisted for the British Science Fiction Award with me.
Ah, hold on. Now we have chaos because Dilman's mic is open and he doesn't have headphones on. That's why we're feeding back. Uh, I'm gonna turn him down a little bit. Chove, repeat what were you just saying just now?
I said Dillman's story in the Dominion anthology was shortlisted for the British Science Fiction Award.
The anthology was nominated for what?
No, his story, Dilmandilla's story, was shortlisted for the British Science Fiction Association Award.
Oh, I see
His
what you're
story in
saying.
the anthology.
Red Bati.
Yeah, yeah. Red underscore Batty.
Red Bati is a wonderful story about a sentient dog, kind of a robot dog, and then Grandma kicks the bucket, and he wants Grandma to come back, but in a way he wants it. That's awesome. I mean, that's how I read it. And I feel my dog feels exactly the same. My real life dog. It's a really cool idea. Oops, now I don't hear anybody anymore. Do we have questions? Shyla says, I'm impressed by your Kickstarter success. Do you have any tips on how to succeed with Kickstarter? Again, I think we talked about it. I don't know. Are you ever going to do this again, Zelda? Everybody that I know, they say never again.
Yeah, I ran a couple more to make sure I could pay the bills basically once 2020 hit. But yeah, Kickstarters are a lot of work. I will say, if you're a writer, you're in a great space to be get on Kickstarter, because the thing that's been really helpful is getting this little badge called Project We Love, which Kickstarter staff selects, and you get blasted to their newsletter and usually get a lot of donations. Um, and they tend to really like anthology projects and books and stuff that deal with really specific topics that are interesting. So if you have, I know one that got selected was LGBT retellings of mythological stories, right?
Oh, wow.
And that was an
Uh-huh.
anthology project. So yeah, if you do comics, if you do literature, you're in a really good position, because that's kind of what Kickstarter was founded around. Promoting the arts. You're in a good space. But yeah, it's just a ton of work. I
I mean,
think.
it's just the work. I
Oh,
mean, right. I mean, I
mhm.
don't, I personally don't question the validity of getting the word out there and getting some really interesting stuff off the ground that would never, like traditional, business dominating marketing would never touch. But yeah, exactly, Zelda. The fulfillment then, sending out, it's a full-time job. Responding to the people who pledge, sending out the rewards and stuff like that.
Yes, hell on earth. So yeah, I'm not dissuading anybody from doing a Kickstarter campaign. If you have a project that you know you're not going to get traditional funding, you can't go to a bank and get a loan. That's me. I can't go to a bank and ask for a loan for my projects.
Yeah.
That you can do for other ventures that I'm involved in. Do it, but just know how much work on the back end, or getting the money, yay, and then how much work you think you're going to need to do fulfillment, triple your expectations, and you'll probably be where you need to be.
Yeah. You have to ask for that up front. GFG has a question here. What else are you working on at the moment? What else can we expect from you in the near future, if you can share?
Who's that for?
For both, for everybody, including Dillman. But Dillman is not speaking to us. He is standing inside the dragon. Chove, what are you working on?
Okay. I have an African. I'll be editing several anthologies. I have a non-fiction anthology with Zelda coming up. It's titled Bridging Worlds. Yeah. Um, yeah. Bridging World. It's a non-fiction anthology. It's pandemic non-fiction, if you will. It's about
Let's see. It's called
how
Bridging
writers.
Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about how writers were able to create during the pandemic, create and survive, the pandemic. The full title is Bridging Worlds: Global Conversations on Creating Pan-African Speculative Fiction in a Pandemic.
Let,
So that's one. I have a reprint anthology coming out with Zelda also. It's titled is the first ever year's best African speculative fiction anthology. So it's a reprint anthology. I have another anthology coming out with Zelda also, and Sherry Rennie Thomas, the editor of Dark Matter. It's
mm-hmm.
titled Africa Reason, and it's going to be published by Tor.com. It's in fact going to be Sherry's first anthology since Dark Matter. So yeah.
Sherry wanted to. I hope that if you're in touch with her, give her a ring, because I had her booked, and then she kind of disappeared. I mean, the pandemic did a lot of things to us, so I
Oh
don't I don't
yeah,
hold it
yeah.
against her at all. But I would love to have her on the book club. Zelda, if you have these links handy, I'm frantically looking here for the Bridging Worlds because I had it on my other machine. I want to put it in the
Okay,
in the
I'll
local chat.
send it right
Send
now.
it in the send it in the Discord. I cut and paste it over.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
send it
Ah,
over.
here you got it. No, you got it. Bookstoread.com/bridging worlds. I'll put the www in front of it so it becomes a link.
Yes, sorry. And the reprint anthology, the year's best African speculative fiction, isn't on pre-order yet. But once we do, you know, we'll let Drex know.
There we go. Here, erscheint, in German it says erscheint demnächst. Ooh, it erscheint demnächst. And if you don't understand what that means, then you have to read Marianne Denis' story about planting your knowledge of German into somebody else's brain. Marianne Denis Moore. We have a few minutes left. Any more questions? Tsai, thank you for coming. People love this today. Zelda, I liked Auriela Book Cafe's YouTube channel. Ooh, this is a good question. Are you planning to upload more bookshelf tours? Yes, I agree. Zelda, I loved. I mean, I loved your YouTube channel. You have a few videos there, tour of your bookshelf, also other projects with this book bike where you wanted to locally where you live bring books around. But talk about the YouTube channel. I think I could anticipate the answer, which is just creative people always have like a million ideas, and at some point you just have to be a little bit more, just focus on maybe just a handful and just make the tough decision to not pursue everything.
Yeah, so um as I said in the chat, I will be posting new videos soon in July. Now that I'm going to be on vacation. Ooh, what's that? In the middle of July. So I'll have a couple more videos. But yeah, YouTube channel was started. I did a small vending event that went really, really well here in Louisville. And I did a campaign to basically launch the bookstore part and get a not really a book mobile because those tend to be vehicles, but a book bike to go around town. So yeah, so more is coming, but it's just as you said, you have a lot of things. You just kind of got to condense. Once I get some responsibilities off my belt, July, I'm kickstarting that again, and hopefully the book bike will be on the streets starting next year because I want it to be around summertime, and it's almost the end of the summer here.
So people don't know this about me, but I actually have a hot dog cart. I just put it on, and I'm going to change this hot dog cart that I'm driving around here. Oops, sorry, I'm bumping into people. I could put some books in there and drive around Second Life. No, but Zelda, what are you planning to do with the book? Because the hot dog cart that I have here looks similar to this little book bike. There is basically a compartment in the front where you can put books. But what is your plan with that? Just drive around Louisville and do what with it?
So first, I just had to talk to the city government so my bike doesn't get confiscated, and they said there's no real, legal thing I have to go through. But my plan is to hit up our local parks and places people gather. I live by what they call Chickasaw Park, and that's kind of like the hub of what they call the west end of Louisville. So I plan to park there and sell things like other people do around the summertime, and
Hmm.
also the lakefront.
And now I would like to have everybody. But then what you giving these books to you stand there and then can people just come to you, or are you specifically going to people and say, hey, check out what I have? Are you going to be aggressive about it and
The
disrupt
only
people and go to them like in a lectury way, like I would do, like, hey, get off that phone. I got books here. Are you gonna do stuff like that? That would be my
no,
strategy.
I'll just do regular just vending, but when there's a couple events, usually like black merchants try to get together to do events and stuff, and at local farmers markets that are opening back up now. The governor said we can open those back up now, so I'm planning to go there and there be aggressive because I'm like, hey, buy my stuff. But
Ah,
really,
yeah.
for the West End, more just just trying to get my name out there and stuff because we do have we actually have a couple of bookstores here in the city, but they're all on the richer end of town called the East End. So we don't really have a literature place you can kind of hang out on the West End. So I'm trying to, gauge interest in that.
That's it. So you go into these communities, you serve these underserved communities. I think that's absolutely awesome. Please keep us informed. I mean, this is something that I will pledge right away. This is really fantastic. I mean, we have these little free libraries, and in Germany they have the book bus from the city, and they go into underserved communities. Um, it's a fabulous idea. Please, in closing, I would like to have everybody in the local chat say, "Hi, Dilman, welcome to Second Life," right now, because Dilman Dilla is Dilla. I hope I don't mispronounce his name. Is an author, filmmaker, and he has an avatar that he made himself. It's not this one. This is off the shelf, but he made an avatar, and we're currently rigging it for the for the August African Futurism show. That is awesome. Elf Biter, you said something. I did not look in the chat here. Try to contact local book crossing people. What are book crossing people, Elf Biter? I hope Dillman sees the. Let's all befriend Dillman. Right click Dillman and befriend him. That's an order. Here he is. Let's befriend him. He's like, oh my God, these Second Lifers are crazy. Okay, folks, we have only a few minutes because I know I say this every time, but this time I gotta cut at the bottom of the hour and go to bed right away because tomorrow is absolutely nuts. Jova, you have any last words?
No.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to have to ride. You're riding off into the sunset. Say goodbye, Jove.
Yeah, it was nice having you guys. Thanks for coming.
I'm
And
filming you
yeah.
as you're trampling over people on the, and Damon is running after you. Oops, you gotta be faster.
Yeah.
You got a dude running after you. He has a Coke Zero in his hand. Uh-oh, he's jumping over the thing. Okay, then I will cut this call, and I'll wish everybody a wonderful time. And Dilman is here. And Dilman, I already told you earlier, which is awesome. Our friend Theanine is rigging your avatar, and he should be done in a few days. But you're already here. If anybody is still around, I have to go to bed. But if Dilman is up for it, please extend a hand to Dilman and give him a little tour of the place here. Dillman is a very accomplished author and filmmaker. He's featured in the documentary in the anthology. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. I gotta go to bed. And yeah, and Dillman is coming on the African futurism panel in August. That would be awesome. If somebody is still around or going to Second Life 18th birthday, bring him in. Zelda, I will say goodbye to you as well.
Bye. Bye, everybody. This was really fun.
Goodbye and
Yeah, bye. Bye. Bye, everyone.
goodbye.
Yeah, bye.